Hey guys, welcome to this new video. In today's video, we're gonna talk about IT, the digital market in Vietnam, the trends as well as the challenges for foreigners and business owners who would like to enter into that market. I have today Duc with me to discuss about that subject. So Duc is the owner of Officiance, that is a tech and outsourcing company here in Ho Chi Minh City. Before we got into the interview, let me add briefly something you hear on Move to Asia YouTube channel. My name is Guillaume and we provide business setup, incorporation services, as well as everything you need to get if you want to jump into business opportunities and investments in Vietnam. We can help you from A to Z to set up your company, meeting other business partners, and also building a tech team in Vietnam. Let's get started for the interview. Can you start by introducing yourself?
Sure. Thanks for your visit. So I have a Vietnamese name from my father, but I'm actually half French, half Vietnamese, and I was born and raised in Paris, France. Studying telecoms, work for incumbent telecom players in France for 7 years, until I decided it was time for me to move here in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh City, in 2006, to start Officiance with a couple of co-founders who are, as we say, bananas like me, so white inside, yellow outside.
Interesting. Before we get more into probably the tech market, what is basically from your experience and your perspective the trends that we observe in the digital and tech in the three major cities in Vietnam, so Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City and Da Nang?
So we have been arriving in 2006 in a market that was actually split in two different sectors: local IT market and international IT sector, like us, where we would be servicing foreign companies up to the international standard, whereas the local IT company will be to some local standard, which will be basically, to make simple, cheaper, lower quality, lower cost. Right? Over the past 15 years, things have been leveling up. And at the moment now, we get a level of expectation from the Vietnamese consumers that is on par with what can be expected elsewhere in the Western world.
Duc, maybe you can introduce us a little bit the team that you have here. You have some IT people, some UX as well as data. Maybe you can turn the video.
Yes, we actually have chosen a people-based approach, right? We are focusing on our purpose, a given purpose that allows us to select our customer based on what we believe together about our vision of sustainability, of social entrepreneurship, of social progress, of the benefits of technology, of sharing knowledge, and we seek for people who share this same purpose or meaning in life, and then we do projects with them. As a consequence, this we could say start with who approach of customer has a consequence that the what is quite diverse, right? So we do have mobile development, we do have web development, we do have a business analyst who do business intelligence, dashboarding, but also for instance, e-commerce website, we would retouch the pictures for them. So we'd have a kind of Photoshop factory to make the goods look beautiful. We can do data processing, data crunching, machine learning, business intelligence. Every team is maybe 5-6 people. The biggest we had was like 50 people working for one customer, in the philosophy of what we call the boutique spirit. So we are leaving all the 1,000 people project to India And here in Vietnam, we are more on human scale, trying to look for a customer who know our names and we know their names, and we are Facebook friends and so on.
Yeah, because actually there is a big difference, right, in outsourcing and it's what you call off-sharing, right? Sorry, off-sourcing and off-sharing. Can you make that distinction?
The idea of offshoring is just, take a job that's being done somewhere and do it somewhere else with a pure cost-cutting philosophy, whereas we act on a whole global view, right? Where being half French and half Vietnamese, we want to help the French corporations to be more competitive thanks to our service. But it's also important for us that we bring to the young Vietnamese people and the Vietnamese economy a benefit in letting them master new technologies, develop themselves, their creativity, their innovation skills, etc. So it's really a shared perspective where we have a win-win view on the way we do our business.
Okay, so Duke, what about the expected salary that a local can have here if they work just freshly graduate, they are junior, and then after a couple of years they can be senior developer with 3-5 years experience?
So for a junior IT developer, there's a lot of tension in the market, like in most places in the world. So one can expect a salary around, in US dollar, right, 400 to 500 US.
Okay.
But then the growth is quite intense. So after 3 to 5 years, we can talk about salaries in the range of 2,000, 2,500 US dollars. And you have to add to that the specific scarcity of the markets. For instance, right now, mobile dev is very hot, DevOps is very hot, but maybe next year it will be, I don't know, blockchain or something else.
Okay. In terms of hiring, how do you find your talents here in Vietnam? Do you work with some specific universities? Do you have partnership with other, organizations to help to find those talents and hire them to work for you?
So because of main market is France, we have an agency specialized called Franco-Viet Career that's focused on French profile if we need them, right? And otherwise, we have been using a job platform, job boards online pretty much. Now, luckily, we have been established as a player in that space since more than 15 years now. So word of mouth and alumni network are playing pretty well for us. So we play on we are playing all the strings. Social media recruiting is getting higher as well.
So a lot of opportunities for young talents in Vietnam to work in that IT field. And what about the foreigner? Is there any opportunities for foreign, like people who have maybe 3-4 years experience overseas, coming to Vietnam to probably be working as project manager or senior developer with specific skills? Do you think there is any opportunities for them to catch up in Vietnam?
Yes, I would have a different position a few years ago, but basically the local level has been raising quite much, but we always need foreigners for the cultural aspect and the proximity with our clients. And because of the COVID lockdown, a lot of people left the country. So I think now is a good time to come back again and explore for opportunities. But you have to come here. You don't do it from whichever country you are, calling people, we'll talk to you after you at least take your chance and buy a flight ticket and come here to see the country. Otherwise, are you really committed? We don't know.
Okay, so if you guys want to find a job in the IT, physically come to Vietnam and physically meet those companies here. You have plenty in Vietnam in the 3 major cities that we mentioned before, Saigon, Hanoi and Da Nang.
Yes.
That are the 3 hubs for tech. So book a flight ticket and physically come here. Duke, what about now I would say the the pain points, because you are working here with mostly, I don't know, 25 years old employees, right? So I guess it's also sometimes very hard to make them commit. The Gen Z have a lot of options. How do you keep them commit, or maybe work on other aspects to retain those talents?
The idea is, maybe I will oversimplify, but when you recruit someone, they are in a kind of army mindset, right? Because there are two predominant social models in Vietnam. The army model, because the public education is training kids to be ready for war, and the family model, because in Vietnam, family is very important. They are tight-knit, and there is a lot of solidarity inside the family. Whereas the other big models we know in the Western world, like the big corporation, here they're just selling stuff, they are not so mainstream. And the administration, the public service, is quite a closed environment. So they are not a role model for the main population. So we are really left with like the army model and the family model. And when people join, well, of course you're not family, you're the army. As a consequence, you will have very committed and dedicated staff who will do whatever you ask, but they will never say no, and if you tell them to jump by the window, they will jump. But the downside is also that well, army have sides and you can switch sides quite easily, right? But you can't change your family. So we work on getting people switching from that army model to that family model, so that when you work here, you are like family, and then it will be more tense sometimes because people will speak up their mind, but they will never let you down, right?
So for you, it's important to find people who have this tribe, right, mindset. And I relate to a conference that you did for the Chamber of Commerce job fair that happened last week, and you talk about those social skills and other skills that are not hard skills, right? The topic was soft skill is not
soft skill is hard skill.
Is hard skills. Can you talk a little bit about that and about the mindset that you expect from your future employees?
Yeah, and I will even magnify that with the example of Passerelle Numérique, the NGO that is operating in Da Nang, where we take kids from the very poor and rural area and we get them into a tech job in 3 years. And guess what? You don't get a PhD in 3 years, right? So we don't make tech genius actually, but we get 99% of them get a job before graduation by leveraging on soft skills, because we found out that's what the employers really want. They want team players, people who speak their mind, people who say no when it's no, who ask questions, who are curious, who have learned how to learn. Those are the skills that are really strong in demand. Vietnam is a country with a very important growth. Everybody has, there is a lot of entrepreneurs and they have a growth mindset, which means we bet on people. We don't hire someone to do a job that's been done for the last 10 years. We invest on people for them to build new things, right? So with that growth mindset, what we care about as employers is really, is it someone who is going to deliver 2x or 3x on what I'm investing now today, right? And this is what soft skills can do.
Interesting, Duc. And you mentioned it a little bit, Passerelle Numérique, that is an NGO based in Da Nang. You are the president. What is basically the footprint you want to leave in Vietnam and the commitment you take through probably that NGO?
Very interesting question, thank you, because we started as a charity, right? We live from funds, and if anyone wants to support us, you're most welcome. We started as a charity thinking, okay, if technology changed the world, it has to change the world for the rich, but also for the poor. So we go in those very poor rural areas, take the kids out of high school, the talented ones, and get them into the tech industry. And so that was first seen by us as a helping hand, to those in need. But what we've been seeing in the last 2-3 years is people are turning towards us, valuing our social contribution as a contribution to diversity and inclusion in the tech industry in the workplace. So now there is an expectation from society upon us to say, hey, You have 60% girls in Passerelle Numérique, that's what we have, and we need this. You have people from diverse backgrounds. You know, if you want to get out of the bro culture with all white 30-something males doing the AI of the world, which are then going to be biased with all the risk it encompasses, you need to train a new generation of IT professionals that are coming from these backgrounds. So from what was until a few years ago only a kind of charity system that, okay, let's get them into our game, it becomes now the IT professional IT community that is coming to us and to those kids to say, okay, somehow we are doing you a favor, but also we actually realize we do need you to join us.
Okay, thank you, Doug, for those inspiring thoughts to end that video. If you want to learn more about IT development, etc., I will leave below in the description a few resources as well as the website of Doug, so don't hesitate to check what Officians offer if you want to find in Vietnam IT companies to develop products for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video.
And we have an Indiegogo campaign running for Passerelle Numérique. So
okay, so go check.
You can put the link.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Down and I'ma get it right, dead on sight like